I feel like what so many people don't realize is the fact that it's not easy to just form a new version of yourself without any toxicity or any bad habits, but it is possible. It's possible to become that version of yourself that you know you're capable of becoming. It's just a matter of what you're willing to sacrifice and what things you're willing to let go in order to see yourself grow. And one thing that I learned about removing bad habits is that we need to start at the source. We need to understand where certain bad habits originate from and then just simply start with the basics, bro. So as I got older, I started to see that I was doing a little more procrastinating. So what I would do, bro, is I would just stop rewarding myself for bad behavior. If I seen that there was a pattern of these bad habits repeating themselves, I would stop rewarding myself and I would stop treating it as if it was no big deal. I would start holding myself accountable. And in the simplest terms, I would just be honest with myself. Because the last thing that you want to do, bro, you don't want to get in the habit of allowing these bad habits to grow and to foster. Because once they grow, they ultimately become a part of your character and who you are. This is how people see you, and in a sense, this is what you stand for. And one of my biggest fears is developing a habit that I don't want to be represented as. So I feel like it's essential that we take the time to really understand our problem, to really understand the source of the problem and get to the bottom of whatever it is that we're trying to fix about ourselves. But with that being said, just keep in mind that we're human, bro, and regardless, we're not going to be perfect. We're all very flawed no matter what we try to fix and the things that we try to do. But there's nothing wrong with working on yourself. We also need to develop a clear sight of where we want to be. When we put this image in our head, like an ideal version of ourselves, it makes it a lot easier for us to move with a sense of purpose because we understand where we want to be. We understand the version of ourselves that we believe we're capable of being, and all we need is some time and, of course, put in the work in order to get there. But when we see the future clear, when we see this version of ourselves clear as day, it makes it a lot easier for us to move accordingly. And another thing that really motivated me, bro, to want to work on myself as far as my bad habits is the fact that I just really didn't want to be looked at as something that I wasn't. I didn't want to go out in the world and stand for something that truly didn't have anything to do with my actual self in the way that I wanted to be perceived. Because somebody could do one thing, or we could see one side or one version of someone, and in a sense, this is what we define them as. This is who we look at them as. Even though this may not necessarily represent who they are, it's just a version of them that we saw, so this is what we remember them as. So I feel like taking the time to remove all of these bad habits, even if it's the little things, just working on ourselves, getting ourselves to that point where we know that we stand for something that's worth standing for. We know that when we go out and we present ourselves in a certain way, that people are going to remember us as someone who we desire to be remembered as. And I feel like this is so undervalued because so many people don't understand how important it is for your name to be remembered a certain way. Because not only does this represent you, but you never know, this could open the doors for you to network and meet different types of people that are going to help you, advance in life and ultimately just grow into the person that you want to be. Also, just taking into account that your environment plays a huge role on your ability to remove these bad habits. If you're surrounded by, pure toxicity, or just in a place that you shouldn't be in, or a place that makes you fall back into doing these bad things or living this certain way, bro, then that's always going to hold you back from becoming the best version of yourself. And I feel like this is exactly why you see so many rich people that, usually come from poverty. They always move out of their old neighborhoods or they move out of their old hometown. And a lot of them don't go back because they understand that if they go back, they're naturally going to fall back into old habits. It's just the environment that it is. And it's not healthy for somebody that's trying to grow and somebody that's trying to really move on and leave their old life behind. But simply the thought of removing these bad habits, bro, the fact that you even decided to click on this video, it really does show a lot about your true potential because this is a thought in your head. And when something is constantly taking up space in your head, bro, it's eventually going to evolve into something. So with that being said, as long as you continue to allow this thought of removing these bad habits to grow in your mind, eventually you're going to reach that point of making some sort of progress because you understand. You've came to terms with yourself and it's been something that's been lingering on your mind for a long time now. So it's really only a matter of time at that point, bro. But I really want y'all to understand that it's not going to be easy. And we shouldn't want the easy way out anyways. We should want the way out that's going to be worthwhile, the way that's going to put us in the best position, for our futures. Truly understanding that you're in charge of the way that you turn out, bro. And this one was a huge one for me because when I was in middle school, I used to always just get looked at as somebody that I wasn't, in the simplest terms, bro. And I used to always think in the back of my head, like, these people don't know me. My teachers don't know me, regardless of, my family and the way that, the people act around me. None of these things define who I truly am at heart. Then I just lived my whole life with a sense of, purpose and wanting to break out of that image that was always put on me by my peers in society and just the people around me, bro. So I say all that to say that you're truly in charge of the way that you turn out, and you don't want to let anybody dictate your story based on their beliefs or based on the way that they were raised, because none of those things truly define you, bro. This is your book of life, bro, and you're writing each page day by day. And nobody else has the ability to write in your book, only you. And one thing that we need to be very cautious of is that although people can't necessarily write in our book of life, people certainly do have an effect on how a page can be written. And by that, I simply mean just the crowds, your environment, your support system, and all of these things. They play a huge factor on how your life ends up ultimately. So really just watching the people that you're around and watching the people that you're allowing to take information in from, because not everyone has your best interest, bro. Not everyone wants to see you win. Not everyone even cares that you wake up and you succeed. But really understanding this, bro, and seeing this through will allow you to ultimately do what you need to do for your future as far as removing yourself from those environments. And you're really just gonna have to make a statement for yourself, bro. You're just gonna have to wake up and really want change. And when I say want change, I don't mean just want it to the point where you just speak on it and you never get back to it. I mean where you actually fiend for it and you actually desire it, because you deserve it, bro. After everything that you've been through, we all have our struggles, we all have our flaws, but we've all been placed here for a specific reason. And I feel like after everything, bro, why not you? It definitely is possible for you to reach your goals and for you to get to that point of success that you've always wanted, bro. It's just a matter of what you're willing to do to get there. But, once again, bro, you're in charge of creating the life that you want for yourself. And you shouldn't let anybody dictate or mold you into this version of yourself that they believe you are. Truly keeping in mind that nobody is perfect. And even with myself, bro, I work on myself daily, but I have habits that I struggle with. And one thing that I did come to terms with is the fact that, I'm not perfect. And there's nothing that I can necessarily do to reach this sense of being ideal. And I don't want to say it's not necessarily healthy to strive for perfection, but just the idea of perfection itself, like that word, is misleading, because as humans, we're naturally flawed and we'll never be able to reach this, this sense of perfection that majority of people strive for. But one thing that we can do is we could work on ourselves day to day by doing the little things, removing our bad habits. For example, me, somebody who just cuss occasionally from time to time whenever I'm out, with my friends, just working on my speech and really just trying to make myself the man that I know I'm capable of becoming. But these are all the little things that you have to take in and be willing to work on, understanding that no matter how much work you do, you're always going to have some form of weakness in a sense, or some form of flaw. But you have to be willing to deal with that. You have to be willing to live with that and come to terms with who you are at heart. But if you made it to the end of the video, man, I appreciate you so much. It's your boy Blue Jay Tay. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all boys on the next one.